says in the 5th chapter of the Quran, whoever associates partners with God on the voice of Isa, on his words, quoting him, they will not enter paradise.
I'm kind of shocked at myself to remember that I used to go and kneel in front of these statues and pray to them. The thought of kneeling at a statue of some virtuous person who passed away.
There are a lot of points, but not the least of which, even today, if you go in any Catholic church, and I have, the first time I walked in a Catholic church, I was about 10 years old. I was shocked. I was shocked at the idols and statues everywhere, because in the Protestant religion, we were brought up to believe that the second commandment was just as important as the first commandment. The first commandment in the Bible, in Exodus, is the same as the first commandment in the book of Deuteronomy. It says, I am the Lord your God that brought you out of the land of Egypt in the house of bondage. You know no other God beside me. Beside me there's no other gods. Thou shalt not have any other gods beside me. The second commandment you have clearly says, thou shalt not make any idol, any graven image of anything that creeps upon the earth, swims in the sea beneath, or flies in the air above. And I was sitting in a church one time, sitting there in the morning service, watching something walking on the earth, something swimming in the sea beneath, something flying in the air above. So look at these two things. Clearly the first two of the 10 commandments, bang, bang, boom. Because if you said God is more than one, where did you get it from?
It's a real shock when all of a sudden you're confronted with a text that says, in these verses of the Bible, if you look at the original text, it raises real questions as to whether or not Jesus was actually crucified.
Yeah.
So that's a shock.
I always used to question the concept of the Trinity. As opposed to the Catholic Church, it's not so much focused on, so how can somebody be God and Son of God at the same time? And then what happens when the Son of God dies on the cross? Then where's God? So
we believe that Christ was not crucified or killed, so that he wasn't killed, but it was his likeness. As mentioned in the Quran, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُم. He was protected. Because if your point man dies, that means that there's a weakness in your call.
Well, one of the things I loved and still love about Islam is that the relationship with God is direct. It's me and my Creator. And I don't require clergy people. I don't have to go through clergy to have access to God.
Is we believe that he had no father. That his creation with God was like the creation of Adam. Inna mathala Isa inda Allahi ka mathali Adam.
In Islam, Jesus is viewed as a prophet.
Yes.
Not as the Son of God.
Yes, you're right.
So yours is a radical rethink of the Christian scriptures, a rethink that a lot of people would call heretical.
Yes, and do. Loudly. I am the one who's going to have to answer for this.
I knew and I realized that the belief that a man is God, any religion that told me that some human being is God or part of God or one with God was nonsense, was not true.
And God says in the Quran, وَلَا تَقُولُوا ثَلَاثَ انْتَهُوا خَيْرًا لَكُمْ إِنَّمَا إِلَهُكُمْ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدٌ. In the 4th chapter of the Quran, it says, leave off saying that God is one of three. He's only one.
Compare the Trinity to H2O, which can be steam, water, or ice.
Mm-hmm.
Most Christians who try to grapple their way to some understanding of the Trinity that goes beyond simply saying three persons in one substance, without realizing it, often drift off into what the church has already condemned as heresy in terms of their understanding of the Trinity.
Yeah.
I believe that he taught absolute tawheed. إِنَّهُ مَنْ يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ الْجَنَّةِ. It says in the 5th chapter of the Quran, whoever associates partners with God on the voice of Isa, on his words, quoting him, they will not enter paradise.
إذ قال الله يا عيسى ابن مريم أأنت قلت للناس يا عيسى ابن مريم أأنت قلت للناس اتخذوني وأمي إلهين من دون الله قال سبحانك ما يكون لي أن أقول ما ليس لي بحق إن كنت قلته فقد علمته تعلم ما في نفسي ولا أعلم ما في نفسك إنك أنت علام الغيوب ما قلت لهم إلا ما أمرتني به أن اعبدوا الله ربي وربكم وكنت عليهم شهيدا ما دمت فيهم فلما توفيتني كنت أنت الرقيب علي وأنت على كل شيء شهيد.
And I want people to know that we love Jesus. He is very dear to us. He is one of the mightiest messengers that God has sent to humanity. He was sent to the children of Israel at that time, correct?
Yes.
He did many mighty miracles by the permission of God.
Yes.
And he healed the sick, the blind, the lepers, correct?
Absolutely.
Gave life to the dead by God's permission.
All of that.
All that good stuff, right? He was the Word of God on earth?
He was the Word of God.
Okay, but he never claimed divinity.
No, he never claimed divinity. And one of them.
إذ قال الله يا عيسى ابن مريم اذكر نعمتي عليك وعلى والدتك إذ أيدتك بروح القدس تكلم الناس في المهد وكهلا وإذ علمتك الكتاب والحكمة والتوراة والإنجيل وإذ تخلق من الطين كهيئة الطير بإذني فتنفخ فيها فتكون طيرا بإذني وتبرئ الأكمه والأبرص بإذني وإذ تخرج الموتى بإذني وإذ كففت بني إسرائيل عنك إذ جئتهم بالبينات فقال الذين كفروا منهم إن هذا إلا سحر مبين.
Jesus is talking to his own companions and they ask him, what's the greatest commandment? Mark 12:29. Clear. The greatest commandment is to know, O Israel, the Lord your God is one God. And you have to love him with all your heart and all your mind and all your strength. And this is no different from what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was saying, the same thing to his people. Same thing I mentioned in the lecture. This is certainly for us the same. So what you see is Muslims practicing the commandments, and you see people claiming the commandments but practicing something else. And I have seen more converts from the Catholic Church than any other of the many sects of Christianity, and especially from the nuns, priests, and even an archbishop. And all of them are better than me. Those guys and women that I see do this, they still sacrifice their whole life to get the true message of Islam, not only to you, but to Muslims as well, because we all need to know about it.
Go, but please go back and do some more learning. What about the preservation of human dignity, the ability of a human being to express their value in public life, to use the gifts, the intellectual gifts they had, the gifts for service, the gifts to give to the community? What about the need to preserve religion itself? Because when religion is used as a tool of control, then people will turn against religion. So this is a simple demonstration.
I can't go back to that life. I would rather just, you know, have my Muslim family and have God in my life, the real God, the true God, not a bunch of man-made, you know, rules and regulations. And their religion caused me so much pain, and this one doesn't.
Allah is the name of the Creator. If you go to the Holy Land, you will find that the Arab Jews, the Arab Christians, the Arab Muslims, they all refer to God as Allah. This is the name that they knew our Creator by in the Holy Land. And remember, these are the people who are the descendants of the lineage of the prophets. Okay, they are the ones whose forefathers walked the earth in the company of the prophets. They should know. You look in the Bible and you find in the Old Testament that God is referred to as Eloh, E-L-O-A-H, Eloh. Now, does that sound more like God, or does that sound more like Allah? Eloh. He's also referred to as Elohim, which is the plural. Not the plural of numbers, but the plural of respect. Plural of respect being a literary device, a way of showing respect through words. Okay? So in any case, in the Bible, you find God called Eloh. I think it's 128 times, and 2,500 times called Elohim. All I can tell you is that Allah filled my heart with peace and satisfaction and showed me what was really of value. Showed me that this dunya, meaning the material aspects of this life, this dunya is nothing. It's nothing compared to living upon the path of truth, living upon the path of the religion of our Creator's design. When you submit to Allah and you submit all of your actions to His pleasure, you find that He gives you a level of satisfaction that makes everything else seem insignificant. And over time, step by step, you find that things just come back to you. Muslim is Mu-Islam, a person of Islam. Islam being to submit to Allah. So a Muslim is a person who submits to Allah.